make it easy for you now.
Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Ray and welcome to Diversity Decoded. In this series we discuss the intersectionality of how ethnicity and gender plays into various forms of the pop culture that we consume, you know, like books, movies, TV shows, the like. Now, some of you know me for my short-term content over on TikTok or my hot takes over on Twitter. And after some deep thought and planning, I decided to move to the big leagues, you know, YouTube. Making long-form content has always been a long-term goal of mine. However, before I do want to make a couple things clear, at least for this channel. So this is going to be a little short video about my stance on the SAG-AFTRA and WAGA protests that are going on right now. Please forgive me if you guys hear sniffles. It's freezing cold and it's dusting. It's inside my room. But like, first things first, I strongly support unions and offer my support for both the SAG-AFTRA and WAGA protests taking place right now. The fact that their demands aren't even, you know, like that difficult, yet the billionaire CEOs refuse to bend even the slightest way. It's just so stupid. Like, they literally did a breakdown of how much it would cost the CEOs, and it's not even like barely 1%. Like barely 1%. Now, this channel will not only support the protesters that are the protests that are going on, but will follow their rules, especially because I want to join WAGA one day and dream of winning awards for my work, but I can't do that if the work conditions are terrible. You know what's crazy? Because I've seen people like naysayers who be like, well, the conditions I had coming up were worse. Why are you guys so spoiled anyways? First of all, ew. Just because your work time was shitty doesn't mean that the lives of others should be shitty as well. Like, that's the point of these protests, to prevent future generations from suffering under the heel of these money-hungry, you know, gremlin CEOs who could do more than afford the demands of SAG-AFTRA and WAGA, but are literally choosing not to. And that being said, I've decided to obey the rules that SAG-AFTRA and WAGA have set in place for not only their members, but influencers. And like, mainly it's because I don't be considered a scab. And it's like, while I really don't consider myself an influencer, even close to the other ones out there, I still want to stand in solidarity with them. And like, that's the most common thing to do. Like, who can say otherwise? So a lot of you guys are wondering, you know, so what are the SAG-AFTRA WAGA rules for the members and influencers? Well, here's the thing. There's actually a pretty long list of expectations. And I have ADHD, ADHD and dyslexia. So it took me a while to like read it and understand it. And here's just going to be the short thing that I've understood, and this is coming off of my understanding as well as reading and watching videos of other content creators, you know, who are in the same position such as myself. For example, all members of SAG-AFTRA and WAGA are prohibited from working for or with studios on struck work. Now, I bet you guys are also wondering, what is considered struck work / who are the studios being protested? Well, basically all the big names won. Like, here's a list of all the studios that are being protested. Now, when it comes to struck work, it's from my understanding, it means all works that are being set to be created / premiered during the strike. So that means the Ahsoka series, and I'll tell you, this one is killing me because I really wanted to talk about it. Castlevania Nocturne on Netflix, the Five Nights at Freddy's movie that's going to be over on Peacock, and so much more. Even the actors themselves cannot promote these works because a lot of them are a part of SAG-AFTRA or a part of WAGA. And that's why I saw this tweet where somebody said, of course Chopper would be a scab, because Chopper, technically speaking, was the only one who was at like the Ahsoka promotion thing. And it's like, of course Chopper would be a scab. And I'm like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. And of all the people that I believe would be a scab inside the Ahsoka series, Chopper's definitely up there. So, however, for what I can understand, there is some wiggle room as the members of SAG-AFTRA and WAGA or influence that are under contract can do work for their can do their select work that they are under contract. However, I am not under contract. I have no contracts. So there have been certain projects that SAG-AFTRA has given the approval for their influencers and members to work on. So these have the green light that you can talk about. You can go ahead and work without restrictions. And those would be, for example, the Interview with the Vampire Season 2 or the Walking Dead series going forward. And also a list of all the approved so far SAG-AFTRA and WAGA projects can be found on their website. However, if an unreleased project is not on the list approved by SAG-AFTRA, then I would not be reviewing or talking about it. There is, again, however, another loophole. Works that have already been released before the writer's strikes. It is my interpretation. I could be wrong. I'm going to do some more research, but it's my interpretation that these works are allowed to still be discussed. So that means that for a while, this channel is going to become a nostalgia channel. So when you see me review things like House of the Dragon, which I don't believe the people who work on House of the Dragon are even SAG-AFTRA, but a lot of them are SAG-AFTRA in solidarity. However, due to their contracts, they're forced to work. But SAG-AFTRA has given them, their blessing and all that stuff. OG Hunger Games movies, It's Club, X-Men, let's see what else. Twilight. Oh God, I swear I would never do Twilight. I'll probably be doing some book reviews, all that other good stuff. Like all the old school stuff. And by old school, it just means stuff that, that was, like I said, clarify, stuff that was made or came out before the strikes. But with that being said, I actually have my very first video dropping, like my very first actual video. I want to say it's going to be dropping either this weekend or if not next weekend. And it's going to be a character analysis on Rhaenyra Targaryen because I am a huge House of the Dragon, A Song of Ice and Fire fan. And I can't wait to see you guys. Oh, God, of course I can't see you guys. I can't wait for you guys to see it. Bye.
I won't make it easy for you now.